Welcome everybody back to Live Life by Design. Today we have Dan Gardner in the house.
Yes, sir.
How are we doing today, Dan?
Oh, I'm doing good. I mean, obviously the face has been better, but I'm doing great.
Yeah, so let's just dig right in. Let's dive in there. What happened? Why does your face look the way that it looks?
So
I think it looks good, by the way.
Oh, thanks. It's a new makeup. You got to check it out.
Love it.
I actually did a bare knuckle fight just this last Saturday here in Utah. It was the first time I ever did it, and anyway, ended up getting 40 stitches from it.
40 stitches?
Yeah.
Like I can see above the brow.
Around the face here, on the
both there.
side. Yeah.
And then what was the venue?
It was at the Maverick Center.
Maverick Center.
Yeah.
So maybe explain what the Maverick Center is for those listeners and viewers that are not familiar with you.
Yeah, so the Maverick Center, it's like the second biggest arena in Utah. So we basically sold out the arena there. So there was about 10,000 people there at
Sweet.
the actual venue. It was really cool. Honestly, one of the coolest experiences I've ever done. So.
And have you ever had a fight like have you ever done is this considered like a professional fight?
Yeah.
How does this world work?
Yeah. So I've done 6 pro MMA fights, and that was like 13 years ago. It was a long time ago. But this one, it is sanctioned. It's a pro boxing bout.
Yep.
And so it's basically all the same rules as boxing, besides you can punch in the clinch.
Okay.
Right? Otherwise, everything else is basically the same. You don't get to use any grappling. You don't get to take them to the ground. No kicks. It's literally just boxing with no gloves on.
Cool. And then how many rounds is it?
It's 5 2-minute rounds.
5 2-minute rounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And how did we do?
We made it through the first round.
First round.
That's about it. 1 minute, 59 seconds is when they closed it. But, yeah, the Mike Tyson quote that everybody knows.
Yeah, I know where you're coming.
Everyone has a game plan until you get hit in the face. I thought I was completely ready to go, and that first punch came and just split me open.
That first punch cut you.
Very first punch. Split me wide open, blood coming in my eyes, and had a hard time with that, and my game plan just went right out the window.
Yep.
I'm a wrestler, right? I was a state champ wrestler. I went and did
Utah state champ. Okay.
Utah state champ wrestler. And I did those MMA fights, and I was known for my ground and pound. Mm-hmm. Like I would sky people up in the air, throw them down on the ground, and get on top and just swarm them. So this whole bare knuckle thing, this boxing thing, was really going to push me. And I thought I had a good game plan, but then when I got hit, went out the window, like I said, and I immediately started to try to grapple a guy and take him down to the ground. And the ref's like, hey, can't do that. So
You went to your natural state.
Just went to the instincts.
The instincts. Who was your opponent?
It was a dude. So the first opponent was supposed to be a guy out of Virginia, and this new opponent, he was based out of Billings, Montana. So just a brute. 6 foot. So he had quite a bit of height on me, a little bit of length in his arms. I'm only 5'7".
5'7" versus 6 feet. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So he had a little bit of length on me, a little bit of size, and
what weight?
Couldn't get in on him.
What was your weight going into the fight?
185.
185. Mm-hmm. And was he also 185?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He had to make 185 as well. So you weigh in the day before, right? We both cut weight, made weight. By the time we both fought, he was probably somewhere around 200. I was probably about 195.
Wow. How do you cut so quickly? What's the strategy there?
So it was fun. I actually did this on my social media so everybody could follow along the process, because when people talk about cutting weight and everything like that, it's actually a pretty easy process if you do it right. So the week leading into the weight cut, the day of the actual weigh-ins, you load water. So you're loading in a lot of water, like 2 gallons of water every single day, right? And so by the time you get to that next morning, so you wait. Sorry, I'm like confusing right now, but we weighed in on May 9th, right? Okay. On Friday. And on the 8th at 7:00 p.m., you cut out all water, all food, but you're so loaded with water, that you're peeing like crazy, and the next morning you wake up probably 2 or 3 pounds lighter just from what you lose overnight from sweating and from peeing, right?
Sure.
Then the next morning when we actually do the official weight cut, we'll go to a sauna and we'll put on like a plastic bodysuit or a sauna suit, and you get in that and you put in some stuff that's going to open up your pores to make it to where you sweat really, really fast. It's called sweet sweat. And you get in the sauna, and within the first, 2 20-minute sessions, you'll probably be down 4 or 5 pounds just in water weight. And you just flush out all the water. So on the day of weigh-ins on the 9th, I went from 194 to 184 in a matter of 3 hours.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
What about food consumption? Did you also have to watch the food leading up to the fight?
Oh, yeah. Diet totally changed. I went from... So this is one of the reasons why I actually did the whole fight in the first place, is to get myself back into a competitive state, back into a healthy living state.
We're definitely going to lean into that.
Oh, yeah.
So let's start there. So I get the water thing. I get the sauna thing. What about food? Like
food, super clean. No sugars, no sodiums. Like all the seasonings that you would put on your food, there's none. It's super bland. White meat and vegetables. That's literally all I ate
for
leading up to it. For about 3 weeks.
3 weeks
Mm-hmm.
of just pure, mainly chicken. I would assume fish.
Chicken, turkey, tilapia,
Yep.
and then vegetables.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's go to the why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did Dan Gardner, how old are you?
I turned 41 on May 9th.
Okay. At age 41, well, I guess you're never former, but MMA fighter. Let's keep that.
Yep.
They're permanent. Why in the world are you doing this now at age 41 with kids?
3
as
kids.
a husband? And
Yep.
what's your role at your company?
I'm the chief sales officer.
Chief sales officer of a national badass brand, bucked up. Like, why in the world did you do this?
I think because, and this is my why. It's really because I don't want the fire inside of me to ever die. I've been a competitor my entire life, and I've always wanted to just continue to push my limits, because if I'm not progressing in life. I don't feel like I'm progressing, even though, there's different priorities now. Like you mentioned, wife, family,
How many
company.
kids do you have?
I have 3.
3 kids, okay. Oldest is how old?
She's only 9.
9, okay.
9, 7, and 4.
Okay.
But I feel like...
'Cause I'm going to ask you what their reaction was. But
Oh, yeah. But I feel like us as men, we get complacent when we come up with so many excuses to not live life to the fullest, to not push ourselves, to not continue to progress. And, as you're growing up, you're constantly doing new things. You're constantly pushing yourself. You're putting yourself in hard situations that you've
in
never
awkward
been
situations.
in. I mean, I remember, I can't even, what was it, 13 years ago, knocking doors under you.
Yep.
I was in your region, and thinking to myself, man, this sucks.
Yep.
But with my competitive drive and just the type of person that I've always been raised to be, I've always wanted to accept the deep water, accept the challenge in front of me, and push myself to get through it, because I knew at the end of the day, there was nothing but just positivity afterwards. I'll never look back and say, man, I'm so pissed that I worked so hard.
Right.
No one ever says that.
Yep. Are you pissed that you got into the ring?
Absolutely
at the Maverick
not.
Center?
Absolutely not.
Isn't that crazy? You lose in the first, quote unquote, lose.
No, I lost.
And you did, but you didn't. Well, and we can dig into that. But he's stoked out of his mind that he got into the ring and wasn't just a spectator of life. I mean, this is insane. This is crazy. Like, I'll say it right now. I would have a very hard time getting into the ring and doing a bare knuckle fight, just voluntarily. I don't mind getting in a fight on the streets if I have to defend myself.
We'll get in a scrap.
Go. Yeah, but being like, hey, I want to prep for this and I want to get stitches. That's pretty That's pretty insane, but
Yeah.
you're sitting here like
Hey,
stoked out of your mind.
I'm stoked out of my mind because of it.
And that's your badge of honor that you're wearing on your face.
Well, you know, you actually posted something that was so relevant to me just the other day. I don't know if you remember which one you posted, but it was about critics, talkers, and doers.
Yep.
Right? Not one person has ever come to me since I've done this fight, and I didn't win, right? I didn't win the fight, but not one person has come to me and been a critic, right? I know there are critics. I know there's a lot of people that are going to say stuff and everything like that, but not one of those keyboard warriors or not one of those people that are going to talk crap, not one of them is going to be a doer. I know with my life, I've always been the person that says, I will do it. I'll step up to the challenge.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. And I think because of that, I've been able to propel myself so much further in life. Those guys won't amount to anything.
Yep.
And that's why I've won the battle. Before the fight, I was on a couple other podcasts, and they're like asking, why are you doing this and everything like this? And really it just came down to my why and the feeling of, man, I've already won the fight.
Yep.
I've already won. Going out there and doing the fight was amazing, and it was so cool to have just a community of people that wanted something to cheer for. Like, there's so many people wanting to bear us up and support us and be excited for us. Any person, like anybody, you have a whole crew of people that want to just see you push yourself and put yourself out there, because it's not easy to do that. But by doing so, the amount of people that were inspired, the amount of people that were just excited, and to watch my family and my family relationship with my kids grow. Like, I would take my kids to every one of my practices. When I'm boxing and I was training, my two boys coming there and watching dad push himself and see that, hey, he just got punched in the face. This isn't easy. But I had a goal. I had something that I was working towards, and I wanted my family to see that, hey, if you have a goal or if you have something that you really want in life and you want to work towards, it's not going to be easy. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort so you can go out and actually accomplish what you're going to do. So many life lessons were learned just by doing this crazy, crazy fight. And I felt like I won no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I'm assuming your kids were present at the fight?
No.
They
didn't let
go?
them come.
They didn't
No.
let them come?
No.
So they were allowed to go to the practice, but not the fight?
Yeah.
Not even your oldest?
Not even my oldest. No.
Did your
no.
wife go?
She did.
Okay.
She was ringside.
Was she freaking out?
She was throwing up. No, she didn't throw up, but she was freaking out.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things where to have her support and to have everybody support.
Did she ever say, Dan, what in the freak are you doing?
No.
Or was she always super supportive?
No. So, okay. So the way it all actually happened is, so we are the title sponsor. Bucked Up is the title sponsor for bare knuckle fighting.
Got it. Okay. Maybe let's do this. Explain what Bucked Up is.
Yeah.
And what your role consists of, just so the listeners and viewers can understand.
Yeah. Yeah. So Bucked Up, we are a national supplement and energy drink company. We are the #1 selling pre-workout company in the nation right now. We're about number 12 in energy drinks, and we've just come out with some new stuff and innovating constantly with supplements to help people push their bounds. But we started in 2016, and like I said, right now we're the #1 selling supplement brand in the nation. We're in over 75,000 doors across the U.S.
Can you disclose revenue?
Sure. Yeah.
What kind of revenue does Bucked Up do?
We'll do over 300 this year.
300 million.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll do over 300.
And
we did
growing.
It's like a hockey stick. We're just getting more and more doors every single day, getting national distributors, getting now to where we're going international. We're in Canada, Mexico, Australia, UK, all over the place.
Is Utah the #1 performing market?
No.
What's your #1 market?
California.
California,
Texas, then Utah.
Oh, third.
Yeah.
Home state is third.
It's third, but we do own our backyard. It's just the population.
Yeah, of course.
It's obviously dwarfed by those.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've been growing like an absolute weed. It's my two brothers are the owners and founders, and I've been with them since inception. And we've grown this thing from 2016, basically doubled every single year in revenue.
Did you imagine that you would be at this point today when you started in 2016?
Absolutely not.
Were you there from day one?
Well, I was there with them, but I wasn't part of the company yet.
Because the payroll couldn't bear it probably, but you were kind of
I was
always around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're always around.
Always with them.
That's cool.
And they finally brought me in where they're like, okay, we're on to something really big. And they asked me to come on and just fill in a bunch of roles. And it's funny how it all like that in like startup, because here we are for about 4 or 5 years. We're running super lean. We had about 9 employees, and we were wearing every single hat you can think of.
Yep.
You know, I was doing all the supply chain. We were doing all the new product development. We were doing the warehouse management. We were doing the AR. We were doing the sales. We were literally doing everything. And we had a third-party consultant come in, and he followed us around for 2 days. And he's like, do you guys want to know what the problem is with your company? And he looked us straight in the eye and said, it's you guys. And we're like, what are you talking about? We're doing everything, right? And they're like, exactly. You're trying to do everything. You guys need to do what you're absolutely best at. You need to hire a CFO. You need to hire a CMO. You need to hire a supply chain manager. You need to hire a warehouse manager. And it wasn't until then that we really started to expand and explode. I mean, we were doing everything that we could, and we were almost, tapped out until we started hiring the right person for the right position that would help us really grow. So some really cool people that we have on board now. We actually have the former CEO of Dr. Pepper Snapple, who's sitting as our COO now.
Cool.
And provided us a ton of just guidance on how to grow this whole market.
Yeah, he has the playbook.
Yeah.
And then who else is in the C-suite then? So you have the Snapple Dr. Pepper guy. Who else do you have?
Yep. We brought in a couple guys from some other companies. So our CFO is the former CFO of Big Red, a big energy drink supplement soda company out in Texas.
Yep.
We have the chief supply chain officer. His name's Andy, and he came from another big company. And this guy, he's a wizard when it comes to making sure that all of our supply chain's good. And just a couple others, but mainly those ones. Our CMO is someone that we used to work with back in the day when we had our affiliate network company, and she's just a wizard when it comes to marketing.
Your marketing's brilliant. I love the logo. I love the brand overall. I love all the names that you put on all the different drinks.
Yep.
I mean, you got, what do we got here? What are some of these names that you guys came up with?
So we got this one. This one's fun. It's called Pump and Grind.
Yep.
Right? So keeping it in with the what do you call it? Just like our theme of music that we like to listen to. So there's a few of them that we have, like Gym and Juice and Pump and Grind and Welcome to Miami, some fun ones.
That's cool.
But then we got creative ones where we were actually named one of the most disruptive brands.
Yep.
On this marketing agency that gave us this award where we have names like our Woke AF.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people know what the AF.
Yeah, it catches your attention.
It just means advanced formula. So let's keep it clean here, right? We have Banff.
Yep.
We have Mother Bucker.
Do you come up with some of these personally?
We do yeah.
Like
me and my brothers, we come up
That's
with
cool.
it. Yeah. We come up with almost all of them.
I can see that.
But every one of them has, like, the acronym has something else, like brain and muscle fuel.
Yeah.
The only one that we couldn't really get away with is Mother Bucker. And you can imagine our parents aren't too stoked about that one.
What did your parents say about you getting into the ring?
Oh, they thought I was crazy, but...
Did they attend?
They did.
Was your mom watching like this?
Oh, yeah. She was crying. She was bawling her eyes out. But the thing with them is that they know
Dude, it's just bare knuckle. It's just so different.
It's crazy.
Like you're insane.
Well, every single hit that he hit me with cut me open.
Yeah.
And I wasn't prepared for that.
Did you land any?
Yeah, I landed a few.
Did you? Face?
Yeah, I got him right.
Did you get cut or no?
No. He didn't. This guy's been weathered. He's been in a lot of fights.
Yeah. Talk to him about your opponent, like his record. How many bare knuckle fights has he had?
So just to kind of preface it, his gym is built for bare knuckles, and I didn't know this until afterwards, right? And their gym, their whole record with bare knuckle. They
didn't want to tell you this. You wouldn't be.
I know,
right?
Right.
Very intimidated.
I thought I was going to go in and kick the crap out of the guy, but no, he comes from a gym where their record in bare knuckle is 17-0.
Wow.
Like they are born and bred for this. That's what they train for. They're ready to go. He's done, 3 to 4 fights every single year leading up to this. And I didn't know that. I thought he was, he had a break for a while and he had come back. Kind of like the same story like me, where I hadn't been fighting for a long time and come back. But, regardless, the guy, he did great. He done one bare knuckle fight before this, but it wasn't in the BKFC.
Okay.
And then he had done, about 11 MMA fights.
Oh, okay.
So if it was MMA, I think it would have been a different story just because, that's my wheelhouse. I could take him down.
Yep.
Even in the fight, like I was lifting him up with one arm, trying to take him down, but.
And the ref was like, no, wrong fight.
Cut that off real quick. But.
And so the ref called it?
Yeah, they called it. I mean, I went down.
Did your team throw in the towel, or did the ref be hey, we're done?
I didn't get back up. So I got knocked down, and just like with boxing.
And sorry I didn't make the fight. I was actually on the East Coast, but I wanted to be there.
Oh,
I know fine. Justin Thompson flew in. A bunch of my buddies, flew in to see you.
The whole crowd was crazy. Like everyone was wearing my DJ Dan shirts, and it was nuts. It was one of those really cool experiences to see the support.
So you actually went down.
I went down. I went down twice. So I went down once when I got this cut, and the blood was all through my eyes. I couldn't see well, but I got back up, came back, started with my game plan again, trying to get in and out. And then at the very end, he caught me with one just really good kind of haymaker right here on my temple. And I went down, and there's a funny picture. I'll send it to you. But I'm just sitting there looking at the mat on all fours. I'm on all fours looking down at the mat, and I'm just leaking blood, like just leaking. And that's when I'm sitting there in my mind. I'm like, all right, do I get back up or do I just call it? Because I've taken quite a bit of damage. And the decision was to just stay down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, good decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of those things where I'm frustrated with my performance, but at the same time, it was everything leading up to it that meant the most to me. And then all the support afterwards, too, has been really, really cool.
Are we going to get back in the ring?
I want to.
You do?
Oh, yeah, I want to, just because I didn't feel like I performed the way that I needed to.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a competitor. It is eating me alive that I didn't win. It's eating me alive. And I knew I could do better. I knew the plan, and I didn't do it. And I'll live with that, right? And that's the stuff that eats you up. Leading up to this fight, it was always one of those, when I'm sitting there at these BKFC fights beforehand, it was like, do I have what it takes? Do I got it? Can I do this? Those questions run through my head like crazy. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's step in and do it. And now that I've done it and I can experience it, it's like, okay, I know what it's going to be like. I could do it again. Why not?
Did anybody nudge you as you're watching all these fights as a title sponsor? How long ago did you guys become the title sponsor for BKFC?
It was like 2.5 years ago. We became it. It was perfect timing. It was right before their big fight that they did out in Colorado, where they had Eddie Alvarez versus Chad Mendez, Mike Perry versus Luke Rockhold, and it was just massive. It kind of put bare knuckle on the map because Conor McGregor actually ended up coming to the fights. Conor came in, and he had fought Eddie, and he had fought Chad Mendez, and he wanted to come and watch those two compete against each other in bare knuckle. He loved it so much that he ended up buying in on bare knuckle.
Got it.
And we were already the title sponsor. So it really helped catapult bare knuckle to the next level. And it was nice because we were all over the mat. We were getting the brand exposure. Everybody had to hold our cans and stuff like that after the fights. And so it's been a really good win-win partnership with them.
Yep.
And, we go to a lot of the fights, especially the bigger ones. And every time we're there, the owner, Dave Feldman, he's sitting there talking to me and my brothers, and they're like, Dan's got to get in there. We got to do this. Dave's trying to encourage it. And anyway, it was funny. The one fight that we brought our wives to, we're sitting there talking to Dave, and I'm like, look, Dave, if you can talk my wife into allowing me to do this, I'll do it. And this is where it becomes really cool because my wife, she is the biggest fan. Like she will support me, and she knows what kind of person I am. That if I decide to do something, I'm going to jump all in on it.
And she's isn't she in the fitness industry?
Yeah, I guess she's a cycling instructor.
Okay.
She's just super fit. Like
Yeah.
she's always been. She comes with me to every one of the big expos that I do, and again, like she's just the biggest supporter, and I love it. And so when she saw that I kind of had that itch,
She's like encouraging.
she's
you.
like, "Hey,
I got you.
do it. Do it. If that's something that you really want to do, then do it." And that's when this whole journey of becoming who I am now is really started because, I had 3 kids, kind of let myself go a little bit. I was like 225 pounds. I was still fit because I was doing like powerlifting and different things. I was still always competing.
Sure.
But I wasn't like in shape.
You aren't at your best.
No. And this was a really good opportunity for me to just be like, all right, time to get serious with things again.
What did your team at Bucked Up think about this? Like your sales team, just everybody around you?
Everyone thought it was crazy. Everyone did. Because if you go to one of these fights, it's different. Like if you've been to one of these fights, you'll know the guys that step into these rings, they're crazy. They're built different, really. It's like one of the most, what is it, like carnal kind of fights you'd ever seen. It's like stepping back into the freaking Coliseum.
Yeah.
Right? And anyway, they all thought it was crazy, but again, for me, that's the kind of stuff I want to do. Like if someone's afraid to do it, or if they think there's a challenge that can't be done, I want to step up. I want to push myself.
I'm sure
I want to try
the
it.
respect level they have for you is like just insane right now that you actually did it.
Yeah.
Like he actually went in there and he actually did it. Like
Yep.
he actually was willing to go get his face beat up and beat in.
Hamburgered.
Yeah. So
Really
how
cool.
quickly after the fight did they stitch you up? Is it just immediate?
Immediate.
They're ready
yeah.
to go?
So they get you out of the cage. They take you out behind. You don't get to see anybody. They just take you straight back right into the medical tent. And then they have this plastic surgeon. I actually get to get these stitches out today. But the plastic surgeon, he's there, and he just stitches you right up.
Plastic surgeon?
Mm-hmm. They have it. I hope it's a good one. I mean, you can't really fix ugly, but...
No, I'm telling you, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
For what I would expect. I mean, I'm
they
just
want to do
surprised
it like right afterwards too, just because it's like all the swelling
Yeah.
and everything like that hadn't fully set in. So
how soon after you get, taken off the mat do you realize what truly happened? Like, was it instant? Like, did you know?
I was
what
pretty
was going
aware
on?
during the whole time, but it's like it happened so fast.
Yeah.
Happened so fast, and
I'm assuming it probably didn't hurt at the time because of your adrenaline. I'm assuming, right? You're like,
no,
you're
it
seeing the
never
blood
hurt.
and everything. You're in trouble, but you probably don't feel that pain.
No.
That we would assume you would be feeling.
Yeah, not at all. You don't feel it at all. Your adrenaline's pumping like crazy. The only thing that got me was that I couldn't really see out of my right eye because I had blood all in it, and I knew I was cut. And yeah, I didn't know how bad I was cut. I thought I had like a couple little ones, but I was pretty cut up.
Okay, what was the toughest part of the preparation leading up to the fight? Like, what was the toughest thing you had to deal with?
The toughest thing was definitely the mental battle. I mean, every single day I was battling against that person in my mind telling me, why the heck are you doing this? Like, what the heck are you doing, man? Like, you don't need it for the money.
Did you almost bow out? Did you almost, once you decided to do it, did you ever get to the point where, like,
there's one
I'm gonna
time. Yeah,
not do
there
this?
was one time I almost did. So during the preparation, I actually tore my bicep. And again, it was just, you can have a million reasons to not
Sure.
do this. And at that point, I was like almost relieved, thinking, okay, I'm going to get out of this. And then I
That
started
self-sabotage.
Yeah. And then I started talking to like my coaches, started talking to my wife a little bit more, went to the physical therapist, and he's just like, look, it is what it is. It's torn, but we can make it to where you feel good enough to go out and fight. And I was like, all right, that's enough. Let's do it. Let's keep going. But it was definitely, the hardest part was definitely the mental. And of course, like, I've got 3 kids, my diet, like they're eating candy and crap all in front of me and everything. And I'm having to stick to this diet. And it was fun because by the time we were into it a couple weeks, like my kids were like, Dad can't eat this, right?
Yeah.
You know, let's make something special for Dad because he can't do it. And it was cool to see how their mental, attitude kind of changed towards me being in this fight. They had my back. They wanted to make sure I was doing it right. So it was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of demons that, you're sitting there all alone at night thinking with anxiety, like, holy crap, am I actually going to do this?
Did it get worse as the date got closer, or did it get easier to say I'm in, so it is what it is? Like, at what was the hardest moment leading up to it mentally? Was it more towards the beginning, the middle, or right at the end there, right before you step into the ring?
It was right in the middle. It was right in the middle for me because, I had put in a lot of work, and I had gotten to the point where I was like, okay, I'm in, but am I really in, right? And it was kind of that tipping point where after I hit that middle point, I was like, all right, I'm in. There's no going back now.
Yeah. Listen,
I'm
as you're
deep.
going over all this, it's that quote, right? Champions are not made in the ring. They're merely recognized there. You became a champion in preparation to step into the ring. All that occurred when you got into the ring is you got recognized for all that work, all that mental work that you put in, all that physical work that you put in, all that emotional work that you put in, like all the sacrifices that you made by not just being a CSO, right? Mm-hmm. Of a $300 million a year revenue a year company, like all those things, being a dad of 3 kids, a husband, the whole 9, and then you have to add this, like that's becoming a champion. And you did all that, and you got recognized for all that work, all that effort, all that sacrifice the moment Dan stepped into that ring, regardless of what the end result was. You are a champion because you freaking got that thing done.
Dang. Thanks, man.
So many people, first of all, so many people would be like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
They'll talk, oh, I can beat anybody up. I could do that. I could kick
There's a lot of tough guys out there.
Yeah. But actually doing it, dude, that's hats off, man. Like, really.
Appreciate it.
Like, what you did is insane.
Yeah. It really was crazy.
And what's crazy is when you're willing to do those hard things, when you have these tougher battles hit you as a dad, because you will.
Yeah.
My oldest is 24. You'll get there. The scariest field you ever go through is parenthood. You're going to be more battle tested, so you'll be more game ready. And things at work too. You guys more than likely will start getting into, different acquisitions, and who knows what's in store for Bucked Up. But you're going to go through a lot of different, tough moments. And because you did this, you'll be able to go through those moments with a lot more, readiness and foresight because you did really tough things. It's all parallel.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. 100%. I mean, it's made me a better leader, better father, better husband.
Oh, the respect level goes through the roof.
All that. Like it's
and what's crazy is you respect yourself more. So by default now, you can command and earn the respect of your peers because you put your money where your mouth was.
I don't think that's talked about enough. Like the confidence level that I achieved for myself, like this inner battle, that whole thing for me, that's what has really changed probably the most, right? And what has made it to where I feel like I am that man, right? And feeling as if I've won, because that's what it comes down to is, your inner battles, your inner self, how you see yourself, how you're going to show up in every one of those positions that you just mentioned, showing up as the CSO, showing up as my husband, as the husband, as the father, as the leader in church or whatever it is. Like all that, it comes back to, who you are and the confidence you have in yourself.
Awesome. Okay, now let's pivot a little bit. I'm just going to ask you some questions. What fires you up at work? Like what gets you just jacked out of your mind working at Bucked Up?
So I love getting in the spot where I get to be the presenter to the big companies. So with my job, I get the opportunity to go in front of like the Walmarts, the Krogers, the Targets, the big box accounts. And I get to go and present to them. And what gets me amped up is just being able to talk about Bucked Up, the story of where we came from, and then being able to back everything up that we have by data and prove that, hey, this is the easiest decision for you guys to ever make. It is a no-brainer for you to bring Bucked Up into your stores. And to have that as a win, that's where I get just jazzed. Awesome. Because I get so pumped up talking to people about it. I eat, drink, breathe this stuff. It's in me at all times,
Yep.
I'm always on this. I'm sipping that Kool-Aid.
Right.
And when people can feel the passion that I have for it, and they feel it and they recognize it, and then they jump on board, and then they come back to me months later and they're like, dude, this was the best thing we ever did.
Yep.
We're the fastest growing section in all of our groceries. We're the fastest growing sections in, all the accounts that wouldn't normally bring in supplements or a brand like Bucked Up. And they come back and are just like praising you because you've helped them level up too. I mean, there's so many good things about this. Like,
so you hit on a couple of things. So first, I'm going to ask you, tell us your tenure in direct to home. What all did you do? You served a mission.
Yeah.
Right. Where'd you go?
I went to Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay. So you served a mission for 2 years for your church.
Yep.
And then tell us the rest of your experience. You did Vivint.
Yeah.
Did you do anything else?
Yeah. So before Vivint, I was, instead of going right after the mission and going to door to door, I had an 8-year span where my brothers and I, we had an affiliate network company that we were doing just advertising for all these different companies where we would do just affiliate networking for them and get them leads and sales to their sites. And we killed it with that. And then it started fizzling out a little bit. And that's when Justin, who was my roommate of 8 years, Justin Thompson, he came to me and he's like, dude, you should think about coming out and doing sales. He's like, you can make some good money. And it was at the point where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And so it was a great opportunity. Went out and did 2 years.
2 years.
With Vivint. And then came back and I worked for a company called Low VA Rates with Eric Candle.
Yep.
Who's one of the coolest guys ever. Worked with Eric, came in, helped him, and we blew that up. We blew it up by just becoming every one of our loan officers that we were there.
Brian Bailey is there too, right?
Yeah, I worked directly for Brian.
Yeah. And
that's how I got into it. Brian was a homie of mine for a long time. And, Brian brought me in, and I became an assistant for him, eventually became a loan officer myself, and did awesome there. We were in the top, 50 loan officers in the nation out of thousands. We were killing it. And then at that point, that's when Bucked Up started, and I went in and started working with them.
So my question, I mean, you've had a lot of sales experience. Did those 2 years at Vivint, there's a lot of listeners that actually currently do direct to home or have. How much did that 2-year span of knocking doors help you in your current role talking to these big box operators?
Man, it's priceless. Like, honestly, the door-to-door was probably what helped propel me more, other than my mission, right? Propel me more in being able to go and talk to people and present to people with confidence.
By the way, just so everybody understands, sales, it's a transfer of energy and confidence and conviction from you to the prospect. Now, Bucked Up is a phenomenal world-class product, so it makes it a lot easier to be confident. And what's cool in your situation is your customers, your buyers are actually happier after they've done the transaction with you than before. Because quite often, some guys are selling stuff that is a little bit dicey or a little bit not really best in class, you have the confidence because you know that your product's best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you're selling a product that you can, like,
Put your name on.
Put your name on and always be drinking the Kool-Aid, and that you know that once you transact, those customers are going to be even more, they're going to be even happier after they've consumed you, after they've transacted with you, because that'll make your sales that much better. So align yourself with a product that you believe in that can back that certainty, because it's not so much about, hey, let me close the transaction. It's what happens after.
Yep.
Customers should be even more stoked after they've bought so that they continue coming back, and so the referral train can continue.
That's it.
But your energy and your conviction, like I can tell, like just being here, I can see your energy regarding the brand.
Yeah.
So I know that when you get in that room, people can feel that. And since they feel that and they believe you're credible, they'll move on that credibility.
That's
so
right.
make sure that you're leveraging the energy.
Yep. Create
Sales
the
is all
emotion,
energy.
create the emotion, and close.
And tell the story.
100%.
A lot of times, sales guys don't know how to tell the story. Bucked Up has a beautiful story. You know how to tell the story. People fall in love with the story. They buy the story. They buy you.
Yep.
And again, people are buying Dan.
You. Yep.
They're not really buying Bucked Up. They buy Bucked Up later after they consume it and test it. But in the moment, they're buying you, the sales guy.
And that, I mean, honestly, that's why with Vivint, that's the one thing I think I learned the most. At Vivint, I was actually really good at getting referrals.
Yep.
My first year doing it, my appendix, I don't know if you remember this, but my appendix ruptured on the doors. And I was,
oh my gosh.
It sucked. Yeah, but I had become, I had already had such a good relationship with everybody in the city. It was in Natchitoches, Louisiana. And I had already, when I had it happen, I had already sold the ER doctor. So I called him up and he's like, dude, get in here as soon as possible.
Yeah, because that's
I had already sold him.
Yep. Appendix.
Sold him in, and he had already got me there. So by the time I got there, I went in there. My nurse, I had already sold her a security system. My surgeon, I had already sold him a system. And my anesthesiologist, I had already sold him a system. So I had already sold all these guys these systems. And so when I'm sitting there in the doctor's office recouping for 2 days, I sold like 18 systems because they put it out on their Facebook saying, our guy Dan, who we love and who has helped us with this security systems, he's only got a little bit of time here, but he's stuck in the hospital. Come get a security system. And they had brought people in while I'm sitting there with all these bandages and everything. I sold like 18 systems in the hospital.
We need to go over this, guys. That's crazy. I didn't know that. How did I not know this? How did we not highlight this on our podcast?
Do you remember Chris Barber?
Yeah, of course.
It was during the competition.
And
And
was it during the madness?
Uh-huh. And if you remember Bodie was talking about it on one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
And he's like, I had the funniest text messages because it was me and him competing head to head. And he was like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Too bad. Better luck next time. I'm like, dude, refresh your freaking app. And he refreshed it and he saw that I had beat him by 2 that day because I was signing people up while I'm sitting there in the hospital.
And they're coming to see you at the hospital. That's
And
insanity.
I did that multiple times. Like this girl who had her own barbershop or her own hair salon, I just go sit in her hair salon and I sold 6 to 7 accounts a day sitting in her salon because they loved me. And they love
They're
that
buying you.
they're buying me.
So I guess what does this say to the guys that are listening to this thing and they're out, feeling kind of like, oh, this is too hard, and the excuse machine starts. Like, what would your advice be to them? I mean, here's a guy that's getting his appendix worked on, and he's still selling in the hospital. Like, talk to us about excuses and BTNA, big talk, no action.
Look, there's always going to be excuses. Just like when I talked about this fight, right? There's always going to be that person in your head telling you that you can't do it.
Yep.
The real nature and the real man really shows up if you can tell that person to shut up and just get to work. That's what I would always tell everybody. It was always about just doing it. Just get out there and do the work, because you're going to have every excuse in the world to not do something. And if you're going to let that person win, you're not going to succeed in life, period. You're just not going to. If you want to become something, if you want to change, if you want to be something that I think of some of the stories of like, are you ever going to be remembered? Who's going to remember you?
Sure.
Like, what kind of legacy are you leaving for everyone that comes after you if you're not willing to just do the work?
Mm-hmm.
So what my advice would be, just freaking do it.
Right. So let me go here. Ruptured appendix, right?
Mm-hmm.
So option A, go get your ruptured appendix taken care of. Story ends.
Yeah.
The story didn't end that way. What happened? He was a hero of that situation and actually sold the accounts that he said. And it's not so much about the accounts. It's what Dan became through that process, through that hardship, through that sacrifice. And because he chose the road less traveled, now there's this defining moment that we can fall back on. So look for defining moments in your life. When it feels like it's really hard out there and you're having to embrace the suck and you get served that shit sandwich, eat that shit. Like,
it's going to come.
It's going to come.
You're going to have it.
But be heroic when those heroic moments come to you. Like, be ready. And I love what you said. What did you say? You got to shut up that man? Is that what you said?
That inner voice.
Like, tell that man, tell that fool, tell that coward to shut the hell up. And don't let them dominate your DNA. Don't let them dominate your nervous system.
That's right.
But these defining moments, like, we're taught. Listen, the reason you got in, I would have invited you anyway, but it was a defining moment that you just went through, and that caused me to say, I want to listen to Dan's story. The appendix story, I want to listen to that story. So allow yourself in these defining moments to actually be the hero of your own story. Don't be a victim of your story. Be that hero. Okay, we're kind of running out of time, but I want to ask you a couple more questions.
Sure.
What gets you stoked out of your mind with your family? We talked about the business. Now let's talk about the fam.
Ah, man, there is nothing better than being a father and being a husband, period. There's nothing better than that. If you guys want to feel true fulfillment and you want to feel true happiness, have a family, period. You won't become your best self unless you have a family. I truly believe that, because I think for me, like, it's not about living for myself anymore. It's about living for them and watching them grow and accomplish things, and like watching my boy.
Because I think you posted this. You were like, I want my kids to see. You're going to explain it better than me, but what was your overall reason? It wasn't for Dan.
No.
I mean, you said, hey, I wanted to prove that I'm still, competitive and whatever, but you said something else the other day regarding the kids. Can you expound on that?
Yeah. I mean, talk cooks no rice in our family. You can tell your kids till you're blue in the face what you want to do, but unless they see you do it, it's not going to really mean much.
Yeah.
I want my kids to see that dad is willing to put in the work. Dad is willing to sacrifice. Dad is willing to do the hard things to accomplish what I want to do.
Love it.
And I don't think kids will actually see it unless you're actually the ones stepping in and doing it.
Kids don't care what you say. They care what you do.
If my kids don't see me competing, if they don't see me actually sacrificing and doing those things, how can I go to them and tell them, hey, if you want to be X, whatever it is, they're not going to put in the work. But everyone, they learn by example. That's how kids learn.
Yeah.
And I want my kids to learn from dad that I'm going to go through the deep water. I'm going to go through the hard times. I am going to sacrifice, and they're going to watch me do it.
Are they standing proud today for what dad did?
Oh, they love it. They love it.
Again, guys, this is what's crazy. Is another victim could have been like moping and groaning and not want to do any podcasts because he quote unquote lost the fight. Dan won the fight. He won the fight. Understand that there's so many guiding principles and so many lessons to be learned today. Hopefully we're digging deep and we're getting the message that's being shared today. Like, this is a beautiful message.
I appreciate that, man.
Dan, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Much love, brother. Much success to Bucked Up. I absolutely love the brand. Thanks for bringing the gifts by.
Yep.
Thanks for being a sponsor at my event that I did about a year ago now.
Of course.
You've always been very kind. You've always been awesome in the community. My people love you. They talk about you all the time. And whatever.
Rob's my bishop. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Rob's my bishop.
Yeah. So I'll make sure he's easy on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, much love to you. Much love to your family. Much love to Bucked Up. And thanks for tuning in today. This is Live Life by Design. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
It was awesome.
Appreciate it.